I've looked at 3 different frames that have the little roll cage up over the top. This is the D215, the LSX5, and this is the purple 215, which I'm actually in the process of building. It's going to be built with an all-in-one PDB flight board, Betaflight F3, and a little run cam owl 2, which will be hopefully pretty cool. But this is in the process of being built. But today we're taking a look at another frame. Another one with a roll cage. This one's called the Awesome GX215, and looks like this. Now, if you get one of these awesome frames, try to remember, awesome flies for dream. So this is the box it comes in, and it says awesomeuav.com. So you can check it out if you want. But inside here, let's see what it comes with. A couple battery straps, the roll cage itself, some screws, nylon screws, the arms, and all the carbon fiber pieces. I'll get this laid out, we'll take a look at it. So here are all the parts laid out. It has 4mm arms, and the rest of these pieces of carbon fiber are all 2mm. So it's going to be pretty thick, which is going to translate to pretty durable, which is also going to translate to a little bit more weight. So this quadcopter is probably going to weigh a little bit more than probably 100 grams. But it also comes with 4 different sizes of screws. Some little small ones, some medium ones, some longer ones, and then some longest ones, I guess. And then it has the little battery thing here to keep the battery from sliding out. And it also comes with 2 battery straps, so hopefully we can put both of those on. Recently I've started using 2 battery straps. It seems to hold the battery in a lot better. The bad thing is it adds a little bit of weight, but you kind of get what you get. So here's the frame. I've got 3 arms installed, and here's the 4th one. Now one thing that's kind of cool about this, and we've seen this before, is when these arms go on, they go in here into the middle and they all touch right here, and they form like a little X, and that way they, even though they only have 2 screws holding them in, they get to play off the strength of all the other arms because they're all locking in the middle. The downside is you can't run any battery strap through the inside of the frame, but you do get a more, you know, solid piece and a solid build because of it. Now this thing, I guess I said earlier, it has all these different sizes of screws. Now this thing has these little washer kind of things. And I've seen these before. These came on the Airpix FPV quadcopter, the AP5. Is it the AP5? No, the Dynamics frame from Airpix FPV. And these just kind of settle down just a little bit into the carbon fiber, and then the screws tuck up tight to them. And here I'll show you kind of what they look like on here. You can see this outer screw is the second to longest screw, and it comes up here and it barely comes out of the top at all. And then this one here is the longer one, and it comes up through the top of this. Now the nice thing about these kind of pieces like this is, especially on this inner one here, is you can run your screw through the arms and pieces and then into this and really crank it down to get it tight. Then on the top of this one, on the top of the screw, you take your little nylon spacers that it comes with, and these screw up on top of this, kind of like that, and that gives you, it's not straight, but it gives you a place to mount your flight board. And so these screws here are going to serve a dual purpose. Because they got that little metal washer ring thing in there, the little nut, they can actually crank down and hold the arm tight, and they can also go ahead and put these on and hold your flight board in place. The downside of that is any kind of motors from the arms come straight in, right through that screw, right into your flight board. Sometimes it's better to have this not, the screw not be the part of the post that holds up your flight board, just to help lower some of the vibrations. But you know, if you soft mount your motors, that'll eliminate some of those vibrations, and hopefully it'll fly fine. I think it will, because a lot of the frames that I've been flying, they don't have multiple arms like this, and it's just one piece, and the vibrations can go straight to the flight board. So you know, this probably isn't really going to be that bad or even that big of an issue. So here's the G215, and it looks really cool. The spacers in here, they're 5mm spacers, and they give you just enough room, well, more than you need, enough room for a battery strap to go under here. Then there's another second 5mm spacer and a little nylon nut, and these are all included with the kit, so you can actually stack up your power distribution board and your flight board, or your all-in-one ESC, and your flight board up on top, and you still have a lot of room up here on top. Now I don't know how you're supposed to mount your video transmitter in here, but it has the little thing back here for your antenna. Now your antenna is going to mount directly to this carbon fiber, which will essentially ground it to the entire frame. Just something to be aware of. It's not that big of a deal. Some people think it is, I don't. But it should be fine. Now the only thing is, like, you don't have a good spot to hang your video transmitter because there's no roof on this, so that's going to be a little bit of a concern. But you know, there's probably ways to do it. You get a little small one and just stick it to your flight board and it'll probably be fine. Now I was going to show you this. This is the little carbon fiber piece, and these are 2mm carbon fiber pieces, and it just slides on here like this, and it kind of has these little grooves cut out for the little aluminum. And I'm sure this is just here because it looks cool. It doesn't really do anything. But on here, this metal is threaded, and so is the spacer. And I didn't see these spacers in the pictures for this quad, but I would assume they go here because I'm also out of screws other than these this single longer one and the little shorter one. So I guess this would go through here, and it's going to thread into the little aluminum piece and into the spacer, which is kind of strange. You'd think you'd only thread into the spacer if this is where it's supposed to go, but I'm pretty sure this is where it goes because there's nowhere else for it to go, except you could put it down here on the bottom, right here across the bottom if you wanted to instead, or up here at the top. Either place, I think it's going to help give a little bit extra strength to the roll cage and keep it from bending over or anything and not having, you know, problems when you crash. So here's a generic HS 1177 style of camera, and if I slip this in here, then you can see that it fits between the carbon fiber pieces just fine, although the carbon fiber pieces have these two little small holes and then the one little slider hole. So I'm not really sure how that's supposed to help you on holding your angle, but if you have a run cam with the extra holes, spacers on the back, well, then you can't use those on here, but it'll still fit. It just can't do a lot with it. But the holes on the camera line up. If you line them up with these holes here, then the camera lens just barely is visible out the front, and I think I have it pretty close right there. So if you have a head-on collision with something, you don't have a real good chance of actually smashing anything. And also the holes here are spaced high enough that you should have plenty of room to get a drastic angle out of your camera without getting into the way of your flight board up here in the top. So this frame comes with two battery straps. One of them can come down here, obviously, to help hold your battery on, and the other one can be used up here on top, and it slides through these little slots that are already in place, and this can help hold your GoPro, or probably not a GoPro with that size, probably your little smaller run cam type of camera. So here it is. Let's get some weights without the top strap because I don't want to. So here it is. This is the fully assembled frame. We put it on here, and I think it's touching. Let's touch it. There we go. It comes in about 114. So this is probably not that bad of a frame. A normal racing frame, you're going to want it to come in about 100 or so, and this one coming in at 114 is not really that bad, especially with the little roll cage up on top. That's going to help protect a lot of your electronics. In fact, I'm still kind of surprised it's only 113. Wow, 114, not bad. We'll go ahead and get some measurements off of this frame. Here, the arms are supposed to be 4mm, which they are, and the main pieces up here, the other carbon fibers, they're all 2mm thick. Now, the one thing that's kind of interesting is these 4mm arms. Most of these come up to be about 15mm or so on the width. This one here, let's measure it, and it comes to be about 13. That's pretty good. It's pretty thin is what I was actually meaning. And over here, yeah, about 13 as well. Now the problem with the 13 is that it's just kind of thin. A lot of your X210s and the older ones have all been 15. Now they're going with the 13 to try to help lighten the weight a little bit, would be the only thing I can really think of. But 13's not really that bad. I haven't flown a 13mm wide arm yet to see if it actually breaks or not. But up here it has the 4 holes for your 2200 or your 2300 size motors. I'm not really sure what this hole is, but it has this little piece hanging up here to help protect your motor in case of an impact. It's supposed to help, make the frame take the impact instead of your motor, and hopefully save your motor to continue to fly later. It doesn't have it on the sides or the front, but it's most of the time if you're going to hit something, it's usually going to be straight on or something up here. Although this would be kind of bad for grabbing stuff because it might grab a little bit harder and make you spin out. But I don't know, I kind of like the look of the frame. It's better than just having another one that has the rounded arms. So here's the G215, and we'll go ahead and look at the differences between these canopies, between it and the LSX5. The LSX5 has a little bit more slant to it than the GX15. It also has a little bit less room inside, which would make it a little bit tighter of a build. Neither one has a top plate in there to mount a video transmitter to, and this one also has a little rubber washer to help keep the antenna from grounding to the frame. This one does not. Here's the real ACC GX215, and you can see the roll cage on this looks monstrous, which it really is in real life too, and it's kind of goofy looking. And I don't really recommend this frame as much as I would this frame. This one, the arms don't touch the middle. They get a little bit loose when the screws loosen up even a little bit. This one can play off of the other arms' strengths. This one here, you can see it's a little bit more of a true X shape. This one here, we need to measure it and see if it is a true X. It looks like it could be close. These little bumps off the end make it look like it could be a stretched X. So is this a stretched X? Well, let's take a little look. Here, we'll line this up in the middle of the motor hole, and then over here it comes up to be about 145 millimeters. If we line up the hole here from front to back, it comes up to be about 163. So it is a stretched X, but not by a whole bunch, but it is actually a stretched X, so you can get that more of a tight feeling when you're doing your elevator or your pitch. So this is the Awesome GX215. I think it's funny when people use an adjective as the name of the company. It's the Awesome GX215. I guess you could describe this frame as pretty awesome. This is probably the lightest frame I've seen with the roll cage on here, and I think this would actually make it a pretty decent racer. Being that it's a little bit over 110 grams, it's a little bit heavy, but with the protection that this offers, it's going to be well worth it if you are looking for this kind of protection. Anyway, also, I think of vampires when I see this for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, this is the GX215 made by Awesome. If you have any questions about this, leave them down in the comments. I will try to help you out as best I can. And as always, thanks for watching.